welcome to the Cyber1 YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video the Raspberry Pi Robo Hat Part 8, I'm going to go through everything I found with my debugging, and I have got one issue that I can't resolve with a little bit of solder work. Alright, so let's go through all of the problems I found in the first place. And the first one was an error on my part. So, using my tweezers, the first error I made was I soldered this chip in upside down. I had the little index mark up here, up in this corner here, and that essentially destroyed the chip. Very simple problem. One that I can replace that with another chip if I had one on hand. They're still coming. This one didn't have any shorts, as I originally thought it might have done. And I did have, I think it was this chip was also rotated. When I turned it around and put it on the way it's supposed to be, as shown in the diagram, it is coming up as okay. The PCF 8574 is also showing up without a problem, and so are the two ADS 1115s. So I got those working. The MPR121 I haven't quite got yet working. I did remove it while I was experimenting, trying to hunt down where the problem was, and my last attempt to try and put it back on during testing, I managed to desolder a lot of other components around it. But before I mucked that one up, I actually discovered another issue. So I'd made two errors on this board. The first one being I rotated all of those chips and had the dot over here, and that was incorrect. In fact, once I removed the PCA 9685 chip, that was the one. They were the next ones to start generating heat. So once I figured out that was a major problem, I pulled all those chips off, worked out that I had them on back to front, and started putting them back on one at a time. Put this first chip on and it was golden. Everything looked good. Put the next chip on and it showed up at an address I was not expecting it to be at. And it comes down to the schematic. So this is a schematic for the main board and the schematic for the daughter board. And the issue I had was to do with these two pins on all of the chips. So for the first chip, both of those are tied down to ground, A0 and A1, and I get the address 0x40, so 40 hex, which is what I was looking for, and that's correct. But for the next one, I then left the A0 tied down to ground, and I changed A1 up, and that's where my first mistake was. That results in this ending up with an address of 44 hex. This one here ends up with an address of 48 hex, which is actually on the same address as one of these two ADS 1115s. This one ends up on 4C. This one ends up on 41, 45 and 49 hex, which is in conflict with this chip. And then the last one was on 4D. So these were supposed to be 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46 and 47. Then the two ADS 48, 49 with the PCA 968 on 50. This ends up on 20, and that is working. This one's on 68, although this jumper here, if you short it, puts it on 69. and I've forgotten what address that one's supposed to be on, but 05A or 05B, depending on if you... No, it's got to be on 5A. And I just never got that one working. But after I found this issue, I knew I couldn't correct that on the board. It's all surface mounts. A lot of the traces run under the chips. This is something I can't fix at the moment. So I've corrected it in the schematic, and I've then recreated the PCBs, and I've sent them off for manufacture with JLC PCB. So with a bit of luck, I'll get them back sometime after Christmas or early in the new year, and I'll have another go at putting all that together. And this time I'll be a little more careful with checking the orientation of the chips before I install them. The other thing I've done is I've made sure I ordered the stencil. So the idea with the stencil is you get your circuit board, you put the stencil over the top, and it has just the pads with holes in it. Then you can squeegee over some solder paste, lift your stencil off, and you've got exactly the right amount of solder paste on each of the pads, which should make putting the chips on easier. One of the issues is I did have too much solder paste. I had to actually remove quite a number of solder bridges because I had too much paste. And it was also hiding the markings. So it's almost impossible to see it. But if you look very carefully here, you can see the white line extends out here. That's pin 1. And down here, there is a little tiny mark here, which again I was covering with solder paste, so I couldn't see the mark, which was hiding the orientation. And this applies on all of the chips. The new footprints do look a little bit better and are a little bit easier to see the mark. And with the right solder paste on the pads, it should work a lot better. So to keep track of what's going on when I get the new boards, don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It's a form of support that helps the channel a great deal and costs you absolutely nothing. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account, and I also have YouTube membership. And you can join my patrons, VIP Go Lucky, All Access patron Jeff Jerd, and my Builder patrons Alan Morales 45, Andrew Cardone, Airgar69, and Stefan Pabst in helping to support the channel. The new versions of these boards will also have all of their names on the back of the board, as I did when I designed the original boards. If you've got any questions or have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below or drop into the Discord and leave your question or comment there, and I can get back to you. I do watch the Discord daily, 2 or 3 times a day, and I respond as soon as I can. And we'll see you in the next video.